going to be tight, but I think I can just about get 300. It's just the 300 is the critical one. Right, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm taking out this Valiant storage combi, this beast of a unit on the wall here. We've got a meander of pipework. I'm actually putting in an electric boiler because they've got, I think there's like 70 or 80 solar panels. So we're putting an 18 kilowatt electric boiler in, heat only, or yeah, we're going to put a pump on it, and then we're putting a unvented storage cylinder in. It's only feeding, it's got a commercial kitchen on this, and a load of basins and toilets and stuff. So we're putting a 120 litre unvented cylinder in, 18 kilowatt electric boiler, and it's going to be fed from the solar panels. I've already capped the gas off. I don't know what was wrong with the boiler, but anyway, it's dead. I think it's been dead a while. So yeah, I'll sort all this pipework out. We've got the cold mains comes in down there. I've isolated it there at the minute because they're using water in the kitchen, which just feeds this across here. So I'll upgrade it from there 22. Obviously do away with the cable ties where it's cable tied on. Sort all this pipework out. Cylinder's going to sit down here somewhere. Electric boiler on the wall, and that's pretty much the crack. Obviously I wouldn't normally recommend doing electric boiler, but obviously this place is literally, the whole roof is covered in solar panels, and at the minute the gas pipe to this boiler is undersized. There is another gas boiler at the far end which does, I don't know what it does, it's a massive place this, but yeah, this does all the conference rooms and stuff. So yeah, that's the plan anyway. No more gas on this side or at this end. And yeah, we'll crack on, try and get some shots as we go along. First thing we'll do is we'll get the boiler drained. It's already been electrically isolated, but we'll check for dead, and yeah, get this thing off the wall. So it's got 2 PRVs off this boiler, so I'm guessing it's got like a little unvented cylinder inside. I've not actually seen one of these Valiant storage combis, but I'm guessing behind it's got like a tank, which 1 PRV will come off that, and then 1 PRV comes off the boiler side. Obviously we're doing away with it all anyway, but I do like to know how things work. So what I'll probably do is get a connection on there just to drain it, and I'll drain it straight down one of the PRVs to outside with my hose. That'll drain the heating side down, and then we'll have a look at getting the water side drained down on the boiler. On these you can actually turn that, keep my eyes, and that's got the heating draining down, so that's draining all the pipework above me. It's like a roof space, and then the radiators are on drop, so it'll only drain what's in the roof. So yeah, that'll be fine. Then we'll get the storage tank drained down a bit. So I just open the air tap on the boiler just to help drain all the central heating water out of it. I'm just seeing if there is a PRV on the storage combi. I'm guessing there must be behind, because you've got like 2 sets of valves on these. I've never actually seen one. Oh, that's obviously the gas, which I've already capped. Yeah, not sure. Always come across stuff you haven't seen before. There is actually a drain off tap on there, but that's only on that'll be the return. I think I have to split these here. And then the front bit I think comes off, just leaving the back bit on. As I say, I'll be first to admit when I've not come across something before. What's that? There might be a little pressure in that. Let's just... water is off. Yeah, that's dead, isn't it? Might just be on the hole. Bit of brass in my finger. We'll get all these disconnected, hopefully get the boiler off. I've disconnected all the pipes underneath from the jig. I think the front bit of this will lift off. Everything is free. I don't think that one goes through. I don't think it's actually connected onto the back bit, if that makes sense. So we'll give it a go. I'm not looking forward to this because I think that's going to be heavy. Phone's out of my pocket. It was fairly heavy, but not too bad. So I should just be able to unbolt that. Obviously I disconnected the flue, otherwise it would not have lifted off. Unbolt this off the wall, however it's fixed, probably just two screws at the bottom, and we'll make way for the electric boiler. So this thing behind is like a storage cylinder, if you like. I'm guessing it was an optional extra for a standard boiler, I'm not sure. But what I wanted to know, I've never worked on one of these. How the hell would you have got to that PRV off that cylinder? Could you, because obviously you wouldn't have got that side panel off because the boiler was in front. So if that ever went wrong, you'd have been struggling, because I suppose you could have got underneath, but everything else was in the way, wasn't it? Don't know. If you know, let me know if I ever come across one again. Right, that's got that thing all stripped out and off the wall. Still need to take the bracket off, and I'm going to make good the flue hole. But what I'm thinking, well, I'll go through the pipework quickly for a start. We've got hot, flow, return, cold, and that was the old gas that I've capped. Obviously, I was thinking put the electric boiler on here. It doesn't need a flue. So that needs to be made good. And I was thinking about putting my cylinder underneath. So we'll have like pump coming out the thing into some 2 ports with a bypass. I don't know, I'll sort of just make it up as I go along. And then the electrician's coming not tomorrow, the day after, and he's going to wire it in on the solar. I did order a special immersion heater for the cylinder, but it hasn't arrived yet, so we might have to run it on the one that it's come with. But I did order a better one for solar, but I said it hasn't come yet. If it does come, we'll get it sorted. So yeah, I'll get them pipes sort of cut back at the top. I'll upgrade it across 22mm, and then tonight when they've gone home, because at the minute they're using water, I'll jig it back into the main down there. So we'll take 22 across into the cylinder. It's only feeding, it's got a commercial kitchen off it, and it's got some wash hand basins and toilets and that. So we're putting 120 litre unvented in, which will be ample, and then in the summer they can just use the cylinder, and then when they've got the conferences on they can use the boiler for the radiators. That's the plan anyway, and it's all going to be fed off the solar. I treated myself to a 22mm Nerad cutter this morning. I know I've got my Milwaukee. I've never actually used a Nerad one before. You can see how much thinner they are to the Rothenberger, so you can cut tighter into the wall. So yeah, I've never used one. It probably won't last very long with me, but yeah, that's what we've got. So they've sent the wrong boiler out. They've sent a combi version out for some reason. I've waited like a week for this as well. I need to get this job done this week because they've got like all the Christmas parties and stuff are starting. So I don't know what I'm going to do now. Obviously I can get the unvented cylinder in, which will give them hot water, but obviously I don't know what I'm going to do about the boiler. It's just completely knackered me up. I don't even think they've sent the right bits out for the unvented cylinder. I can't even find the combi valve. So it's just a complete nightmare. I've never known a cylinder where you don't have a combi valve when you order an unvented cylinder. So yeah, I'll have a look. I'll have a proper look. It just proper gets you down, doesn't it, when bits are missing. And like you order stuff like weeks in advance or like a couple of weeks ahead of a job, like everything's missing, everything's like ordered wrong, everything's sent wrong. So yeah, I don't know, I'll have to sort it, won't I? But it just like completely messes your day up, because I would have pretty much got all this nailed in today. Now I'm probably not going to see that until, well, I don't know when. But yeah, I guess it's my fault. I probably should have checked it when I picked it up, but what do? You just load up, don't you, and get on. Right, so I've just got my unvented cylinder position. I can crack on with this even though I haven't got the boiler. They're coming to pick the new old boiler up now, if that makes sense. They want the wrong one, and they've got some in Wakefield, but they haven't got anybody to go and get them. Wakefield's like an hour and 45 from here, so I might have to go over and get it, because obviously I need to get this job done, but I'll have a think about it. At the minute I'm just going to crack on with this unvented. So it's going to go in that corner. Obviously we've got hot out the top, which need to pick up. that hot pipe up there, so we'll bring that down somehow. And then we've just got flow return, that's the cylinder stack connection, and then I think that one will be cold in, so we need to put our combi block and stuff above the height of the cylinder, so we can get all this pipework set up nice and neat. And obviously we'll leave space for the boiler. It is nice to have everything on site. And then so I don't think they've got the actual boiler that I ordered. I think it's a 14.4 kilowatt one that we're going to end up fitting. But I think it'll be fine. If I didn't think it would be okay, I wouldn't fit it. I was going to put an 18 kilowatt one in, but I think it'll be ample. So yeah, if not, we can't get one till after Christmas now. So yeah, and they wanted it done for the weekend, so my day's messed up, but we'll just crack on best we can. I'll get these pipes cleaned up at the top. There's only so much I can do now until I get the new boiler, but we'll just crack on best we can. I'm hoping it'll be here tomorrow, but not out of my hands, unfortunately. I've ordered it right. Well, I think I have. I don't know. What do you do? I'm sure it happens to other people as well, but it just gets you down, doesn't it? When you want to get on, when you're really busy, it always seems to happen. And it's going to be one of them. Now I've not got my boiler, I'm just not going to be happy all the way through this job now. I don't know, because I like to get that on the wall first and then sort of pipe everything back. I don't know. We'll do, I mean, it'll look okay. It's just there'll be something I'm not happy with, but there's nothing I can do. Right, a little bit of a progress update. I've got my pump going to be coming off the boiler when I get it. Intake zone valve, so that one's going to be heat, that one's going to be hot water. Into the bypass valve. I'm going to get an expansion off the return, so we've got no valves in between the boiler with a PRV. Filter on the return. That is my flow to my radiators, that one, through the zone valve to the radiators. That's going to be my cold dropping down 22, so we'll probably put the composite valve and stuff up there. Expansion vessel, and my hot is dropping down that side, which is going to pick the unvented cylinder up. It's just awkward trying to jig stuff in when you haven't got everything. Like I'd like to get my boiler on the wall, obviously, and then it can pipe down from that. So I think the last one I did, the flow was on the right, so that's what I've kind of worked off. I think there is a little filter inside the boiler as well, but obviously I've put that filter on there. Obviously today I seem to be getting note done, but if I can get all sort of the unvented done, and then I don't know when the boiler's turning up. They reckon it's going to be tomorrow couriered, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Trouble is, a courier can be before 6 o'clock at night. So yeah, I'll get it jigged in best I can. Obviously I'm not getting much footage, but yeah, we'll be alright, we'll get it done. So I've got a lever valve on my cold, which is cold inlet to the cylinder. Obviously I'll put the combi block above the height of the cylinder. I always think it makes it easier to work on. So that'll be cold feed for the fill loop. That's cold in for the cylinder. I actually need to turn that around because I think it's going to hit the head. But I'll sort that in a second. This is the combi block. So it's a pretty standard one. So you've got it's actually a 4.5 bar pressure relief on that one. So it goes that way, so it goes through the composite valve. You've got a strainer, reduces it to 3 bar. That one's balanced cold feed, which we're not going to be using, and we can use that one for an expansion. Don't put your expansion off that side because it's got a single check valve inside there. Yeah, the amount of times you do see them done like that is not good. So yeah, that's balanced cold feed, not expansion. That's expansion. So we'll put that above the height of the cylinder. How's that going to go? Probably go like that somehow. I'll jig it in. So yeah, that's how that's going, and we'll get that in, and then I'll drop down. We'll put a drain off tap on the bottom, and we'll probably put the expansion vessel on this wall here out of the way, and then the heating vessel, they want to try and obviously use them shelves, so we might put the heating vessel over there, which will come off the return for the boiler, first one off. There's always, when you're making these up, a little bit of jet blue. I always use jet blue. I know some people don't. It's how I do it. Right or wrong, probably wrong if I'm doing it, but yeah, everybody's got their own little things, haven't they, how they do stuff. I probably do stuff wrong, but I do stuff wrong. But yeah, ultimately So I always go to a job, when you go to a job and you've worked on it, and you see what other people have done. You think, well, I wouldn't have done it like that, but hey, that's actually not a bad idea. So put a bypass valve on, so if either of the zone valves shut off, it can bypass back into the return and then back into the boiler. So drop the heating, put them somewhere, so put that down. We're assuming the electrical needs bypass, might just turn it off there. Obviously, we've got to it, so I'll it, and get to the electrical, I'm saying, once it's done one, but it's there, we don't need it, then, you know, might want to need it. That's my hot pipe off the cylinder, straight up, and that picks up the basins and the kitchen sink and stuff. I know I've done it in 22, it's 15 there, it won't make any difference really. I could have done it in 15, but I decided to just drop it in 22. So that's that done. One thing I need to say, I need to keep that a maximum distance of 600 to the ton dish. I'll probably end up putting the ton dish down here somewhere, and then we need to have a 300 drop. That's an external wall at the bottom of the ton dish minimum. So I'll bring that round, bring that one round, and have the ton dish there somewhere, so everything's to regs then. So I've just got my potable expansion vessel on the wall. This is for the unvented cylinder. It actually comes with the cylinder in the kit. This is just a 12 litre one. I always use them like plastic pipe spacers to hang them on the wall. Obviously that's got a good fixing. What you've got to remember is when that becomes full of water, you've got to be able to, you know, take the weight. I know it should be full of air, but they do fill up if they're not serviced and stuff, and you can rip them off the wall. And I'd hard pipe that in as well. So yeah, we'll check the preset pressure in that anyway, but it should be set. So we'll bring our cold feed down, we'll pop a drain off tap under there, and we'll just take that in off the cold feed to the cylinder. So as the water heats, as the unvented heats up, it expands into there. So yeah, that should be fine. And the red one, I think I might mount the red one down here out of the way. This one's for the heating, so we've got an 18 litre one on there. So I might mount that down there out of the way yet. So this is my cold feed into the cylinder, they're my coils. What I'll do is I'll pop a drain off tap somewhere along here, it doesn't really matter where it's going. What are we doing? I've kept it in as tight as I can, obviously that's just how I've had to do it. So someone with cold feed in, drain off tap on there. I'm going to pipe this a little bit unconventionally, but my expansion is going to come off there and pick that up. I'm just trying to work with the space that I've got really. It'll be absolutely fine. You don't want too much of a dead leg on your expansion, but yeah, it'll be all right on this. So I say drain off tap on the bottom so you can drain the cylinder down. That will also drain the expansion as well if you want. And then we'll just get that bit soldered up. And that's cold feed all in, hot draw offs all in. Cylinder return, I like to pop a gate valve on so just so you can balance it. It's kind of the old school way of doing it, but it's what I always, they're the only thing I use gate 4 valves really in plumbing. That one, flow into the cylinder, will pop an air tap. That's cylinder stat, so the return just needs to pick up off that one with the expansion off it. The flow just needs to come down here and pick that up, and that's pretty much all the pipe work done apart from the boiler, which we haven't got yet. So I've put an auto air vent on the coil flow that'll bleed any air out inside there. So gate valve on the return, auto air vent on the flow, and if the air vent ever went wrong, you can shut that gate valve off and you can close the 2-port, and then you can just whip that out nice and easy. So I've got a drain off on the return from the cylinder as well, so if it ever goes wrong you can drain it down. That'll also drain the heat in. Drain off taps everywhere, so it gives you a fighting chance. So this is my inlet to my expansion vessel for my potable one or wholesome water one. I've started putting drain off taps underneath just into the vessel so you can drain them out easier. I know potentially you could obviously switch the water off and open a hot tap and pump it, but it is easier with a drain off tap. You just pop a hose on there, pump the vessel up, and yeah, it makes life a little bit easier. That's the cold inlet to the cylinder all piped up now. I know the vessel looks slightly weird and it has got a little bit of a dead leg going up, but I don't think it'll be a problem. I didn't want to mount the vessel there. I wanted to keep it up and out of the way. So drain off tap underneath so you can drain the vessel out. Through the combi valve, I still need to do the PRV. Down, drain off tap so you can drain the bottom of the cylinder out into the cylinder, and then that one picks up the expansion. So that is all present and correct. And then, as I said, I've just got to finish off the heating down here. So that's flow. We just need to pick it up off that zone valve there. And return, I'm going to mount the red vessel there and then just pick it up on that return. Right, with fill loops, I've said this before and I'll say it again because it does annoy me. Your double check valve one goes on the water main and your normal isolation one goes on the heating side. Your double check valve is there to protect the water main. Obviously your fill loop should be removed after use anyway, but if that ever goes wrong, you can knock the pressure off the heating side through that valve and it makes your life a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is mount that side of that filter, I think, and try and loop it over the top. I don't know, we'll do something with it. And then I've got a gauge going on the bottom of the expansion wherever I've done it. So we'll put the gauge down there. I don't know if there'll be a gauge on the boiler as well, but there'll be one down there anyway, so you'll be able to see. I might even swap it for a fill loop with gauge yet, but yeah, it's all there anyway. So that's my expansion piped up. We've got a gauge on there. Just need to get that pressure relief out of the wall. So it comes off and that'll be straight into the boiler. So expansion, there's no valves in between the expansion and the PRV to the boiler. So I just need to solder this up. So that picks up off the return of the cylinder. So yeah, we should be fine. The only slight thing doing it like that is it means that the filter is only on the central heating side, not on the primary side. I honestly don't think it'll make a huge amount of difference on this system, because if there's going to be any dirty water, it's going to be on the radiator, it's not the cylinder. It's a brand new coil, and it just means that there's no valves between the expansion and the boiler. So yeah, that's how I've decided to do it. It's not, well, it's not ideal, but without having the boiler and stuff, it is difficult to know where to put stuff. But I don't think it'll make a huge amount of difference. Just say all the radiators are filtered on the return. And I think there's another filter inside them boilers anyway on the electric boilers, but the only bit it's not is just this leg of pipework here that's going around the cylinder, which is all brand new anyway, so I don't think it'll make a huge amount of difference. Right, so I've got all the cylinder and everything piped up now. I've just got the discharges to run in. So the important thing with discharges is maximum of 5 or 600. That's a little bit of a grey area. Your D2 is actually more important than your D1. Some books say 5, some books say 6. I don't think you'll ever be picked up if you do it 600. So a maximum of 600 on D1. It's got to have a full into the ton dish, and then a minimum, an absolute minimum of 300 before the first bend at the bottom of the ton dish. That's to get rid of the water. Basically, if you went straight out there with an M&F, say, you're just going to back up and come out and overflow. So we need a minimum of 300. Obviously, this cylinder is quite low down, the PRV on it, so you know, it's going to be tight. We're probably not going to get much more than 300, but we'll be able to get like 400 or something. So yeah, that's where it's going to have to go here, I think. So we'll just bring these both round into there, and then we'll just have to drop that in front of the other pipes and go out that wall. Nothing else we can do with it here, but it will be to regs. But yeah, watch your D1, watch your D2, because that is something you will get picked up on, and the amount that you see that are wrong is crazy. But yeah, as long as your D2 is D1's no longer than 600 and your D2's got a minimum of 300, you'll be absolutely fine. So I'll cut a piece of copper at 600 mil. As I say, this book actually just says 600, but some will say, can you see? Some will say 500. It just depends. I don't know if they've changed it recently. I know on the last unvented course, one of the books said 5, one of the books said 6. But I say I don't think you'll ever get picked up. So what I always do is just cut a piece of copper at 600 mil. We know we can't go any longer than that for our D1. So we need a foil on this D1 pipework into the ton dish. You don't need a lot. Something like that will be fine. I've just bent it around that expansion vessel. So we'll put the we'll tee that other one in, put the ton dish there, and then we'll just have 300 going out the bottom. It's going to be tight, but I think I can just about get 300. It's just the 300 is the critical one, so it's going to end up about 70 mil off the ground. Ideally I'd like it a little bit higher, but we've got to put a terminal guard on there as well. But yeah, it is always awkward with these low down cylinders. I could have gained a little bit there, to be fair, what to do, but I'll get that drilled out. We just have to put an elbow at the bottom, and then yeah, that'll have to be fine. I might even be able to get it with a sweat bend, or a couple of 45s might be better, just to sort of help it sweep out a little bit. But yeah, not much else I can do with that one. We're getting there. All I can really do then is lag the pipes until I get the boiler. And yeah, I've got that cold to turn at the top, and the flue hole to make good, but yeah, not a lot else I can do until I get the boiler. Right, I've only just got that 300 mil. In theory, I suppose I could have turned that to the side. It would have gained, what, another 60 mil, I guess, but we've got it. I've used two 45s at the bottom just to help sweep it out, and I think that's as good as we're going to get it. So it's all within regs just about, and as I say, terminal guard on the outside, and yeah, job done. The PRV for this one, I'm going to take out the old hole where the old boiler PRV went out of, so it's pretty much in line. So we'll get that bit done, and then say just pipe lag in, and then just wait for the boiler. So I've got the mains on, connected up now, so I can actually fill this unvented out. What we need to do is open the PRV to let the air out. It won't take long to fill this. It's only 120 litres. It will take like 6 minutes, I would have thought, 6-7 minutes. And I'll have to go around and make sure there's no taps open. Is that going to stay open for us? Yeah, fine. So yeah, that's filling the unvented up. Obviously I can't fill anything on the heating side up yet, because obviously we've got no boiler. And then the rest of the day I'll just spend lagging the pipes, and hopefully the boiler's here tomorrow at some point. So cylinders full to that point there. It's a good actually time to test your ton dishes and that. To be fair, it's still filling up, but yeah, that'll take the flow. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll go around, purge it through the hot taps in a second. We'll soon find out if somebody's left a hot tap open, won't we? Because it'll be flying out. But yeah, doesn't appear to be any leaks on there. Obviously we can keep an eye on stuff. My boiler's here, yes. Obviously my flow return the wrong way around. That's heat in, that's backward inlet, more commonly known as a return, I would say. Electric goes in there, so there's not really too much to them. Obviously this is just a heat only one, so we've got all the pumps and everything external, pumps and expansion vessels and stuff. So literally we've just got flow and return, that is it. So just flow across onto their return, onto that one, and then yeah, I'm happy. They actually drove to Wakefield, I think. Was it Wakefield? Yeah, I'm sure it was, which is about an hour and 45, nearly 2 hours away. To go and get that for me. It's a fair play to the suppliers. It was their mess up, so they've actually sorted it. So yeah, we might actually be able to get on. I probably won't quite get done today, but we'll get that piped up quickly. Just need to see if I've got another female line in the van. They'll just lock tight on there. And yeah, get that piped in, and then we might be able to get filled up as well. We'll just kick one pipe behind the other, so the flow will just step behind, go onto that pump valve. The return I'll just bring down in front and connect onto that one. It won't look too bad when it's all lagged. I'll leave the space, well, somewhere. The electrician will have to get his wiring centre in, and then he's got to get an armoured, I imagine, from that fuse board there. But he's coming to do that. It'll be a big power supply. You can't just obviously wire it in on that, because you'll melt the cable. Because yeah, they do draw a lot of current. But yeah, it will do the job, and as I say, it's all solar panels on this roof and everything, so hopefully it should be a little bit more, well, I'm not going to say economical, but it should be cheaper for them to run, because they are generating some solar energy even in the winter. I can't remember how many said they got, how many kilowatt hour, but they've got he was saying, I mean I don't know much about it, but he was saying they can only feed so much back into the grid, and then they've got a special switch which switches across, which basically kills the power, because they're basically generating too much electricity, and the grid won't take it all. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it should be all right. Right, I've just got the flue to do on this. I'm only joking, there's no flue on an electric boiler. It feels weird, doesn't it, when you fit a boiler? You've got no gas, you've got no flue, basically just flow and return, which is what I've done. So now we should be good to fill up, get ready for a wet floor. What's leaking? Oh, it's that auto air vent down there, so we're alright. Got a pressure gauge down here. That's probably going to quickly build up to pressure. So we'll fill that up to, well, 1.5 bar. That's full. Switch that off. Lock open the zone valves. And I've opened the filter up. So let's drop the pressure on it. That should be filling the system now. I don't know if there's any auto air vents up in the roof space, but if there isn't, we'll have to go and find something to bleed it with. But so yeah, it's just basically pressurising all the pipework up. Horrible snot on there, look. It'd be alright, lagging will cover it. That's just filling the hole. I'll have to go and check to make sure there's no taps open. Blimey, pressure's getting a bit high. That's alright, pressure's at 1.5 bar, but it's alright, we just leave that on test. When the pump kicks in, it will reduce it anyway. So yeah, just the lagging to finish off now. Right, that's got all the pipes lagged apart from the last little bit at the top because I just ran out of lagging. I've done my best with the lagging. It doesn't look too bad, I suppose. I've got to come back anyway, obviously, to give the electrician a hand to wire up and commission it all, which I think he's coming, not tomorrow now, he's coming the day after. It's been quite a long day today anyway, so I'm going to get wrapped up here. Probably going to end the video there. It's probably getting quite long as well, the video. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you all next week. Right, I thought I'd just quickly update you on this job. I went back a couple of days later with the electrician to commission the system up. We fired it up. Well, I don't really fire an electric boiler. We switched it on and it came up with a flow fault. I checked all my pipework. As you can see, it was all plumbed in the way it should be. So I phoned the technical helpline and basically just rang and in the end you have to leave your email address and your phone number and they'll get back to you. I tried quite a few times. I was probably trying to get through to them for over 3 hours. In the end I rang the sales number and they did eventually ring me back. I spoke to technical and basically said if it's coming up with that fault code, it means either pipes are blocked or you've plumbed it up wrong, which, as you can see in the video, it's plumbed in the way it should be. What they try to make you do, obviously I don't think they've got any service or repair engineers, is what they try to make you do is sign a contract before they'll send you a new unit out, which I don't sign contracts or anything like that, because obviously when you buy something in this country, if it doesn't work, you're either entitled to a refund or a repair. That's the way I understand it. I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm just a plumber. I've had it before I had a heat race radio unit that was faulty, and Baxi run their technical, and they were absolutely brilliant. I rang them up, and they said basically we won't be able to get anybody out for 30 days. Would you be happy if we send you a new unit out? We send you, we'll tell you where to send the invoice and we'll just pay it. I said, yeah, not a problem. These things are never about money with me. At the end of the day, the job has got to be right for the customer. Obviously, I'm a business, you can't go to work and lose money, but I'd sooner spend a couple of hours just sorting something out and get the job right for the customer, because obviously I don't get paid until the job's complete anyway. So while I've got a non-working boiler on the wall, I haven't earned anything. In the end, this job I ended up having to buy another boiler, because I wouldn't agree to their terms in their rigmarole. It was pages and pages of stuff that I didn't agree with, and so I bought a new boiler. I went back and I fitted it, and it did work. And what I'll do in the next video, I'll show you what was wrong with the other boiler, because there's no way it would have worked, basically. But yeah, technical helpline wasn't very good, and I was honest. I'm always honest with people. I said to him, look, in your instructions it says that you've got to connect the unit with flexi hoses. I said, I've connected it with female irons, will this invalidate the warranty? And he said to me, no, we prefer connecting with flexible hoses, because obviously the connections inside don't get twisted. And I've also said I didn't put valves on the unit, because obviously being a heat only boiler, you shouldn't have valves on the unit. Obviously, has that invalidated the warranty? I said you shouldn't do it anyway. It shouldn't be in your instructions. I says, because if the boiler ever boiled or anything like that and heat exchanger, it's got no path to safety. I says it's wrong in your instructions. And he didn't understand what I was on about, because obviously me being a plumber, he was probably more of an electrician, because obviously being an electric boiler, again, it's one of them where you get the crossover, isn't it? But yeah, I did actually get it all sorted for the customer. I did actually have to put more temporary heaters in. It cost me about 160 quid. Again, these things are never about money with me. The job has to be right for the customer, and I say it was just because it was their Christmas do for the old folk. I felt a bit sorry for them, and obviously it's my responsibility. It's not my fault, but it's my responsibility, because they've bought off me in good faith. I need to make sure they've got heating. So yeah, I put a load of electric heaters in there for their meal. They were happy, you know, they could see I was doing everything I could, and I did get it going for them before Christmas with the new unit. But yeah, that's what happened on this one. I did get it sorted, and in the next video I'll show you what was wrong with it. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening to me ramble on a little bit, but yeah, we got it sorted.